There's a growing band of people who advocate achieving financial independence to retire early. And by retiring early, I mean retire young when they're in their 30s or 40s. This is known as the FIRE movement. Financial independence, retire early. In this video, I'm going to explain the why, what and how of FIRE so you can decide if it makes sense for you. After all, it sounds very appealing. I mean, who doesn't eventually want financial independence and to have the opportunity to retire early? This channel is for anyone who wants to take control of their financial life, to master their money, to worry less, and to live more. Sound good? Then hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so that you stay up to date with my new video content, which will help you master your money. I'm Jason Butler, and I'm one of the few professionally qualified personal finance experts on YouTube who's also spent over 30 years studying the skills, traits and habits of financially successful people. And in that time, I found that financial success leaves plenty of clues. Financial freedom means different things to different people, but in its simplest form, it means that your living costs are met by income that you don't have to work for. Imagine your retirement idyll, a life of sitting on that beautiful beach in the sun, sipping cocktails under a parasol, reading your favourite book, and chilling out with friends whenever you want. Count me in, you say. How does this FIRE thing work, you ask? Not so fast, sunshine. People who follow the FIRE movement's approach follow some simple but not necessarily easy money principles and practices. FIREists, as I call them, live very frugally and waste as little money as possible, particularly in their 20s and early 30s. And I'm not just talking about doing without the obvious things like foreign holidays, flash cars, eating at expensive restaurants, or getting the latest fashions. I mean frugal with a capital F. I know what you're thinking. I thought the same thing. Frugal, fanatic spenders. FIREists go out of their way to collect coupons and reward points. They do batch cooking and buy second-hand clothes. And if they do own a mobile phone, it will probably be one of those old flip phones from the mid-noughties. And it goes without saying that they shun borrowing money because the repayments would increase their living costs. And they maximise their income in any way that they can. They develop side hustles, they rent out their possessions, they work as many hours as they can. They will even do a job that they hate if it pays them a high enough income to save enough to achieve financial independence and retire early. All that frugal living and relatively high income enables them to save aggressively and invest in financial assets like shares and property. And some of our FIRE friends also invest in profitable businesses run by other people. Those who've achieved FIRE don't have to work, but that doesn't mean that they can do whatever they want. Most continue to live a frugal life to remain in a state of FIRE and rely on their investments to deliver the FIRE income that they need. Now let's get something on the table. Some of the people who've achieved FIRE can come across as sanctimonious or smug to those who haven't achieved FIRE. Their route to FIRE can make other people feel embarrassed, frustrated, or ashamed about their personal financial situation. And you might give up before you've even started because you feel that achieving FIRE is too steep a hill to climb and too far out of your reach. Now, before you rush headlong into 10 years of living on rice and beans and working 20 hours a day to achieve your own FIRE, you need to be clear about what matters and what would work best for you. So I've got some questions for you. Ready? Let's go. Firstly, do you really want to retire? Not working and a life of leisure sounds like fun, but doing meaningful work can provide crucial human interaction, recognition, a sense of purpose, and a contrast to your free time activities. Some who've achieved FIRE end up continuing to work because they enjoy it. So is retiring young really all it's cracked up to be? If your main motivation for FIRE is because you hate your work or job, why not change your work or job? Are you prepared for a decade or more of austerity and very simple living to achieve FIRE? One of my good school friends died suddenly when he was aged 29, but at least he did enjoy his life in his 20s, and I know because I was with him for much of it. You have to balance living for today with building security and options for the future, and getting that balance right is the thing that you need to figure out. Is FIRE feasible for you? A simple rule of thumb to work out how much wealth you need to achieve FIRE is to multiply your desired annual lifestyle expenditure by 30. So for example, £33,000 per annum lifestyle cost would need £1 million of financial assets. How much would you need to save and invest to build that £1 million? Well, if past returns from property and equities were repeated, and that's a big if, you'd need to save and invest £2,850 a month, inflation adjusted each year for 15 years, as this chart shows. A lower investment return would require higher monthly savings and/or for you to do so for longer than 15 years. But do you really want to spend 10 or 15 years of your life doing work that you hate just for the high income, or be miserable living on cheese and crackers just to be able to afford that large amount of savings for FIRE? And are you prepared to invest your spare income in risky real assets like equities and physical property to generate a high enough investment return? The value of shares and property moves up and down all the time, and their returns are uncertain. But if you're patient, these investments have a high chance of producing decent returns over the very long term. By all means, pursue FIRE if it's important to you and you're prepared for the sacrifices that it entails. But whether or not FIRE is your thing, follow these money principles and you won't be eating cat food when you're older or working for money until you die. 1. Develop a smart spending plan for your money where you decide in advance where you want your money to go, including your future life. And my smart spending system can help. 2. Avoid debt at all costs. It's a dead weight and stops your ability to save. 3. Invest at least 15% of your household income for the long term, but ideally even more if you can. 4. Invest a large proportion of your long-term wealth in global equities and physical property to have a good chance of generating returns above inflation. And 5. Max out the available tax benefits or pensions and other saving plans to boost your savings. When I was 30, my aim was for work to be optional by the time I was around 50, but I never wanted to actually retire. And I still wanted to enjoy life along the way as well. Rice and beans were not for my wife and me in our 30s or 40s. By saving and investing consistently into equities, property and private businesses, using all the mainstream legitimate tax efficient routes, I achieved FIRE in my late 40s. As John Lennon said, life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. Don't beat yourself up if you want to achieve FIRE but can't see it within your grasp. You just need to balance making steady progress, repaying debt and building wealth with spending money on things that enable you to enjoy your life now and along the way. Plan for the future, yes, but live a little today. Remember, you're looking for progress, not perfection. Best of luck. Why not stay on my channel and watch another video to help you master money, worry less, and live more.